Welcome to this episode of the Sneaker Principal Podcast. And today I want to talk to you about year one of being a principal. I had a brief interaction with a colleague of mine who is going through the thick of things. It's year one, and it's a struggle. However, year one is always a struggle. The one thing that they don't really help us truly understand before we take over the mantle, the seat, the front office position of being a school principal is the true nature of the challenges. I wish when I went through my training program at Teachers College, Columbia University, that there had been more time devoted to those of us who are truly serious about becoming principals to sit with year one principals. Yes, we had the chance to speak to successful veterans, those who'd done the work for a number of years. I don't think anyone less than 5 years. Most of the people who'd done it for longer than that. Actually, in our reality, mostly people who had transcended the position of principal and had become superintendents of other positions. It would have been wonderful to spend some time talking to those people who are actually in the thick of things. It's very important, like for example, in the military, as you're preparing for leadership, that you get to hear from those who are in the seats that you're pursuing. If you're looking to be a military officer and be a platoon leader, it's important to spend some time with sitting platoon leaders so they can break down to you what to expect walking into that seat. But that's usually not the case for principals. And as a result, you're making it up as you go. So for those of you who are hearing this right now, this is the month of December, we're 2 days away from the break, you've pretty much almost hit the halfway point of your first year principalship. I do apologize because this probably would have been helpful much earlier. But for those of you who are entering the seat right now, but it happens. You never know when you'll be called on to the major leagues, to the position. Hopefully it'll be helpful for you. And for those who are looking to do this in the next, few months to a year from now, hopefully this will help you as well to really figure out if this is what you really want to do, and if so, how you're going to actually enter the position. So I'm going to try to make this as quick as possible because I have to get to the gym soon. But number one, the myth of being ready. The truth of the matter is this: no matter what program you go through, how elite it is, if you went to Summer Principals Academy at Teachers College, or you did your training at Harvard, or you did Leadership Academy, or any of these other phenomenal programs, you will never truly be ready. Okay, some of you might say, listen, no, I was an assistant principal for a number of years under a phenomenal school leader, under a phenomenal principal. Taught me everything that I know. When you get into that seat, you will never be ready. Just accept that. And I think once you accept that, it changes the way you approach the position. Because when you walk into a space believing that you're ready, it's funny, like for example, I just watched the Jake Paul, Anthony Joshua fight this past Friday night. No matter how much Jake Paul wanted to say he was ready, no matter how much you want to spew manifestation, I are him, and all that nonsense he was saying, when he got to that ring and his 6-foot frame, 215-pound body stood in front of a man who was 6'6", more likely pushing 6'7", 260 pounds hydrated, Olympic champion, two-time, unified heavyweight champion of the world. No matter how much you want to tell yourself you're ready, when you get into that space, you get into that ring, and you're facing the reality of what you've accepted, then you realize the momentous reality of the opportunity. But it doesn't mean that you can't do it. It doesn't mean that you back down and say, oh my God, what did I get myself into? You frame yourself in your mind ready for the fight. And the principleship is very similar. You frame yourself ready and just tell yourself, no matter what, I'm not going to give up. No matter what's going to come my way, I am that person. I am the person for this moment to lead this school, this community. And the fact of the matter is, you don't know what you don't know until you're in the job. My first year as a principal, I'd had the opportunity to sit at the foot of some really good leaders and watch them, listen from them, hear from them. But while I was in that seat, a lot of what they said didn't quite apply. A lot of it was good advice on how to handle things as they experienced it, but not necessarily as how I was going to experience it or how I would experience it. So just remembering that you're not supposed to be ready in a sense of for anything that comes your way. You should be ready for the inevitability of things coming your way that you didn't see coming. If you did see coming, it didn't come the way you thought it would come based on what you were taught. Number two, you've heard this over and over again. The loneliness of leadership. Being a principal is a lonely, 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 lonely position to be in. However, only if you make it that way. There are certain things that only you are meant to go through. There are certain things that your assistant principal, many things, your teacher leaders, your team, are not going to be able to walk with you on. You can seek their counsel. You can seek the counsel of mentors and consultants, even your own boss, the superintendent. But however, at the end of the day, you have to make decisions that will impact not just the school, not just the community, but impact you. But that is what leadership is. You're the lead. And the fact of the matter is, a lot of times, some of us are adverse to the loneliness. It messes with us. So we create a cabinet, not a school cabinet, our own mental cabinet, our own board of directors of outsiders who then are telling us multiple different things, and you never quite secures clarity on your decision-making process. Keep your circle tight. The job is only lonely because we make it lonely. But at the same time, don't go out there having 10, 20, 30, 20,000 people all in your ear at the same time. It is your decision, but you can have a very small circle of people that you consult with as you're making a decision. No one should make a decision for you. It is yours, because at the end of the day, good or bad, you have to defend your decision. You can't bring other people to the table and say, well, can you come with me because you helped me do this? No, it's yours to make. And I'll be honest with you, hopefully, as you come into the seat or as you're developing as a leader, you find that one voice. That one voice that is aligned with your leadership style, your visioning for your school community, and make that person a constant. But remember this, they're not making decisions for you. They're a sounding board. They're the ones you go to and say, hey, it's what I'm thinking. What do you think? And you still have to assess what they're saying and ask questions. Sometimes what happens is we're so stuck in our own heads that we don't go beyond what we're thinking, what we're feeling. So that's why it's very good to have a sounding board. If you have 2, 3 people, that's fine. But keep it tight and eventually to that one person that is a constant because you've seen a consistency of success in your decision making process when you consult with them because they help you be better, but they don't make the decision for you. Number 3, manage what you inherit. Lord, the people who take over schools and feel like they have to not throw everything out, what do they say? Throw out the bath water with the baby. Like no, I've always prided myself, and no matter what I walked into, my job was to enhance, not to completely rebuild. Sometimes, you know, all it needs is a fresh coat of paint. Not tearing down walls and rebuilding and adding ballrooms and all this other stuff. No, absolutely not. Manage what you inherit. It's like buying a classic car. Buying a, I don't know. I mean, 65 Mustang or whatever, and it's a little rusty and it's this and that. But you don't say, you know what? Let me take off all the metal and throw on carbon fiber. Let me take this off and add this. Let me take out the dashboard and make it completely touchscreen electronic. Then it's not a 57, it's not a 65 Shelby Mustang anymore. And please, for those people who are car people, I don't know if in 65 there was a Shelby Mustang. And for those of you who know what I'm talking about, it's a American classic muscle car. But you want to keep things the way they are. You know why? But there are people who've been there for a long time, the community, those who went to school there. You should be enhancing, not just like ripping things apart. Yes, things will have to evolve, but evolution usually takes time. Don't be so focused on just ripping things out. Like spend some time, observe, diagnose, work with the community. Is this something we need to shift? Something we need to change? Let them have voice in that space. Manage the space until you collectively get to a place where you're like, okay, now it's time to move in this direction. No. And yes, there are some spaces where it's too late. And you know those spaces, but most spaces are not like that. Most spaces require you to slow down and really understand, learn the community. Don't just walk in there and start swinging a sledgehammer, ripping down walls. But you never know which wall you're going to rip down that the community was really leaning against, or that wall might have been, what do you call those? You have these walls in homes that are foundational walls. I might be saying it wrong, but it might look like a regular wall. You rip that wall down. This way it does. It really messes with the stability of the whole entire house. So know the space, learn from the space, and manage what you inherit. Make it better. Often it doesn't need to be made new. Know when to speak and know when to shut up. This is number 4. A lot of times we talk way too much. My first year in schools, I usually don't say much. I listen, I learn, I repeat what I hear. I seek clarification, I seek understanding. Yes, there are certain things that I'm like, oh, wow, wait a minute, this is a problem. This is a state of emergency. This is something that I consulted with the system, with the superintendent, where I'm like, yo, we have to address this. We have to address this. But most of the time, what I'm seeing are things that I need to understand how they're working and then figure out a way to make it better, or if it needs to be changed, bring collective understanding and collective agreement on the change that needs to be made. One of the things is that often we just talk way too much. We want to tell people about what we can do, what we've done, and da 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 da. I've done this, I've done that, blah 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 blah. Listen, if you're that good at what you do, trust me, they're gonna Google you and see what you've done. But for a lot of people, it's not gonna mean anything because that was there. This is here. And people want to know. that you truly understand what they're going through and what they think they need. And the only way you're going to get that is by listening. So do me a favor. Listen more than you speak. Keep your mouth shut. Pay attention. And it won't take a year. Often it might take a couple of days, a couple of weeks of you just getting a sense of things. Very, very important. And I'll tell you this is how you build trust. People will say, listen, he or she listened to us. They didn't just talk at us, they spoke with us. And the funny thing about it, when you listen to people and you let them speak and you really listen to them and you seek understanding of what they're saying, they sense you as being someone who is collaborative, who is listening, who cares about their feelings and their thoughts. Number 5. This is so important. Often when you walk into a space, especially if it's a space that might have been dysfunctional or perceived as dysfunctional, those who are accused of the dysfunction are usually the veterans. Right or wrong, that's what the case is. And often school leaders walk into schools and become adversarial with the veterans, the OGs, those who've been there for a while. And the thought process is, I gotta get rid of them. They gotta go. I have teachers who were 10, 15, 20 years here, and man, I can't wait for them to retire. I wish they would have already retired. And I'll tell you this, no, I love my OGs. I love my oracles, because this is how I get a better understanding of what has worked and what hasn't worked. And are there those who become thorns in your side? Of course. But also there are newer teachers who do the same thing. That's a human personality thing. But the thing I love about veteran teachers is that they often have a heart for the community because they've been here for so long. They're the ones who would tell you, there was that student's sibling, that student's parent. Many times I had that child's parent as a student here. They know all the local businesses. They know they're walking encyclopedias of what's happening in that community. They can often tell you, hey, we tried that before, it didn't work. And you can ask, but why didn't this work? And they'll tell you. You'll be like, wow, okay, because it was done this way. This is how I want to do it. And they'll look at you and be like, wait a minute, we never thought about it that way. Okay. And often the veterans are the ones who often are not given the space to have voice. I've seen new principals come in here and they gravitate towards the new teachers because in their minds I can control the new teacher. But my thing is not about control. It's about consensus. It's about hearing. It's about understanding. It's about leveraging your strongest people, the deepest experiences. And my thing has always been this: whether young or old or veteran or a newbie, if you're building something the way it's supposed to be built, those who are going to be down for the journey are going to be down for the journey, regardless of their status and how long they've been there. And those who are not down for it are not going to be down for it, and they will exit themselves out of the space. But not leveraging the experience of your veteran staff, I think it's a bad move. Bring them to the table. And if they're not agreeable, then you do what you got to do. But the thing of the matter is, you have to hear from them as well, and give them space in your cabinet, in your space, to really get a sense of what the community is seeing. I'll say it one more time. Don't ignore our oracles, our OGs. They're very, very important. And if you're coming in as a school leader, guess what you are? Typically, you're an OG. You were a teacher, you were a dean, you were AP, whatever, and you became a principal. That's time. Somebody respected the time that you've had in the game to put you in charge of a school. So why wouldn't you respect the time of those on your team, who could really help you see things that you need to see? Okay, this often gets me in trouble, and people get afraid about being in trouble for this one, and that's district pressure versus school reality. Listen, y'all, stop being punks. One of the things that I ask for all the time is, hey, come see, come walk with me, come see, show me. And this is from the district. From the district. Don't just tell me what you want to tell me verbally. You know, come and see, come and show me, walk with me, so I understand what you're talking about, and then be able to come back and so I can walk with you and show you what I've learned. Too often, the district folks will tell you, oh, this, that up at the school. You go into that space with your mind infected, and then you start going after people. You start ripping things down. Versus getting a good understanding. Because remember, at the end of the day, yes, the district puts you into that position, but you represent the people. And the district is not the people. The district is support, it's giving you the tools to help you be successful. And if you outside of the people that you're serving, the students, the teachers, the parents, the community, put the district above them, put them first, you're doing something wrong. And it's gonna come back to bite you in the butt because no matter what, if you're not successful at turning the community, of bringing peace and bringing stability and increasing proficiency, you're out. Who removes you? The district. And if the community, but the thing is this, if you go in there and you read for the community and do what you need to do and the community is behind you, it's hard for the district to remove you. If anything, the district is probably only going to support you further and give you access to more resources to do your job well. But they see the turnaround. I'll tell you right now, turnaround starts now with proficiency scores. Turnaround work starts with trust. When the community starts to trust you, the kids, the teachers, the parents, guess what happens? Barring you only driving the school further into the dirt and scores dropping insanely, you will be successful. And I say this all the time. The district's job is to support me with the school's realities, which means you can't just tell me. I'm not the show me state. You gotta come, let's walk so you can show me what you're talking about, what your issues were, and then I can show you what's happening, and we can collaborate. District, myself as the principal, and the community, the kids, the parents, everyone. That is your job. You're the connective tissue between the school and the district. Do not turn it into a versus. District pressure versus school reality. Absolutely not. It is community reality, which involves everyone. And lastly, this is the one that a lot of people struggle with, and it's a hard one to find balance with. But it has to do with boundaries and burnout. I get it. You're a first year principal. You get there at 6:30 in the morning, and you leave at 6:30 at night. I've done that. I've done 6:30 in the morning, 6:30 at night. I've also done, a more reasonable time frame that allows me to take care of myself. And can I tell you something? Same results, and even better when I make space for myself so I don't burn out. You don't tell you. I mean, people tell themselves, my first, second, third year, I got to go all out. And there is very little data out there to show that you going all out and putting in 60-hour weeks and not taking care of yourself and not sleeping and not eating right and not working out and you're gaining 20, 30 pounds your first 2, 3 years as a principal. There's very little data that says that correlates with success. It doesn't. You're the leader. If you're not in tip-top shape, you're fighting a battle of diminishing returns. You got to take care of yourself. You got to work out mentally, physically, making sure you're on point, making sure you get your medical checkups, you're eating right, all of those things. Because the better you are, the better the results are. But if you're tired, you're stressed out, your anxiety levels are high, you're anxious, you know who pays for that? First of all, you do, because you're putting yourself in a position where you will break down. But who also pays for that? Your community. You become angry. You become, surly and and non-collaborative, and it becomes all about the final product, the success. And while you're doing that, your community's looking at you, and they're like, "Oh, we can't stand you because you're just always in a bad mood. You're just always angry. You're just so sad, or whatever the case is." And nobody wants to be led by somebody like that. So you got to find that you got to set those boundaries for your own self to be healthy and strong and prevent burnout. All right, y'all. I got to run. I got to go to the gym, get a quick workout in before I head out to work this morning. So hopefully this is helpful for my first year, my day ones out there. Focus on understanding these 7 things. Number 1, the myth of being ready. You're never going to be ready. Not the way you want to be. Number 2, understanding, accepting that there is loneliness in leadership, but that loneliness is often what you make of it. Have your crew, that one, that is a sounding board. But nobody tells you what to do. They just advise you, and you make your decision. Number 3, manage what you inherit. Don't do an overhaul your first year. No. You go in there, you make the changes that need to be made. You make the adjustments and the pivots that need to be made. Manage what you inherit. Number 4, know when to speak and when to shut up. And if I were you, it's funny, Amarion, the award-winning performer from Inglewood, California, my hometown, he was at my school day 1, first day of school. He told the kids, God gave you 2 ears and 1 mouth. He gave you 2 ears so you could listen more and speak less. And I love that. Listen more and speak less. Number 3, listen, do not disregard your OGs, your veteran staff. Do not disregard them. Bring them to the table. Listen to them. They're going to give you the stories. They're going to give you the full picture of what's happened there so you can make decisions and not repeat the same mistakes of history. Often principals walk to schools and they don't ask. And they do certain things that rubs the staff the wrong way because they've gone through their traumas and they're seeing what you're doing thinking, oh my God, he or she's doing the same thing that we went through 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 10 years ago. And you're wondering why you're getting pushback. Listen to your veteran staff. And stand up for yourself. Do not allow district pressure to get you into a space that you're doing things that's not in alignment with your school's reality. Make sure the district, whoever's your supervisor, your supports are working collaboratively with you and addressing what you see. Let them see what you see so that whatever the diagnosis is, what the applied prescription is in complete alignment, not their wish list of things because of what they were not able to do before you got there. You hear what I'm saying? Are you picking up what I'm putting down? And lastly, boundaries and burnout. This is for you. Set your boundaries. Take care of yourself. The stronger and healthier you are mentally, physically, spiritually, the greater you will be for your community. All right, y'all. Uchenyi Joker, Sneaker Principal. Till next time, be well.